Welcome, 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 the enigma chasers. You're here again, sniffing through the smoke of something you can't quite touch, but can't stop obsessing over. The buzz is deafening, the whispers louder than sirens, and the silence you leave behind. That's what makes people lose their grip. You're not just being watched, you've become the spectacle, the myth, the virus infecting their calm, the face they can't decode, the presence that unsettles their peace like a glitch in their perfect little system. They're unraveling one by one. See, people don't really panic because they know too much. They panic when they realize they know nothing at all. And you're that void, walking, breathing, wearing skin like it's a disguise. You showed up without a warning and flipped their reality like a rigged coin. Tails, they lose. Heads, still lose. Because no matter what side they pick, you're already 10 moves ahead, writing their fears in ink they can't wash off. At first they laughed, mocked, called you a ghost chasing clout. But now, their nights are riddled with your name in half-spoken sentences. They open apps hoping to see you, and dread it all the same. You're not just trending, you're transcending, beyond viral, beyond fame. You're the question mark at the end of their certainty. They scroll through reels and headlines, looking for proof, trying to capture you like a shadow in a bottle. But what happens when the shadow stares back? When it smiles without smiling, speaks without sound, and pulls the strings without ever stepping on stage. They don't know where you came from. That's the beauty. No origin story, no neat little bio. You didn't walk in, you emerged, like fog, like prophecy, like revenge. And ever since, the world has been clawing at every pixel, every whisper, trying to dissect the anomaly that is you. Because you shattered their metrics, broke their radar. You don't fit in a category, and that's terrifying, because what they can't measure, they can't control. But oh, how they try. They follow you like cultists now, lips cracked with curiosity, eyes dry from sleepless digging. Everyone wants to know who you are, but not because they want to see you. No, they want to be you. They want to wear that confidence, that danger, that chaos stitched so perfectly into your silence. You don't post for attention. You exist like a detonation. They watch, they burn, they replay. And the hype? It's not hype anymore. It's hysteria. You've become folklore while still breathing. A moving myth with flesh and bones. They're drawing your face from memory, building stories around your absence and panicking at your presence. You've weaponized mystery. That's the ultimate fame. When the world wants to understand you so badly, they forget who they are. Their identities are breaking because yours can't be boxed. Their normal is crumbling because your chaos is contagious. Your silence? Louder than their screams. Your absence? Heavier than their presence. You didn't rise through algorithms. You corrupted them. You're not in the system. You are the system crash. What they can't see is what drives them mad. But what they think they see, that's what keeps them addicted. Some think you're a genius. Others swear you're a fraud. But the worst part? They can't prove anything. And in a world addicted to certainty, your ambiguity is a weapon, sharp, beautiful, fatal. You've become their fever dream, their paranoia, their obsession. People wake up at 3:17 a.m. just to re-watch that one video, that one phrase, that one flicker of movement. They whisper your name like a prayer and a curse, hoping it either blesses them or disappears. But you're not going anywhere. You're not some fleeting trend. You are the virus in their thoughts, the glitch in their logic, the echo in rooms they thought were silent. Do you feel that? the way their voices tremble now when they speak of you. They're not just watching, they're worshiping. They're afraid to admit it, but they want to be you. Not just wear your style, they want your soul, your mind, your power. But you give them nothing, no backstory, no slip-ups, just presence, just energy, just that thing they can't replicate. And that's why the hype isn't dying, it's multiplying, because as much as they chase you, they fall deeper into themselves, and what they find there scares them more than you ever could. You're not a brand, you're a mirror, a distorted one that reflects not what they are, but what they lack. So let them spiral, let them obsess, let them paint theories with cracked brushes. You owe them nothing, not an explanation, not a reveal. You move like prophecy, not performance. Your silence is your sermon. And each time they try to figure you out, they rewrite themselves. You didn't just arrive, you disrupted. And it's funny, isn't it? How they all think they've almost figured you out. That if they just connect one more dot, you'll fall into a perfect little category. But you never do. Because every time they look closer, they see more questions, not answers, more smoke, not clarity. You are the storm in their code, the silence in their noise. Keep moving, don't pause, don't explain. Because the more they try to catch you, the more they lose themselves. And the moment they think they're close, that's when you twist again, shift again, disappear again. Because that's what legends do. They don't arrive, they echo. Let them watch, let them scream, let them wonder. The world has built shrines around identities that scream for attention. But you whispered. And the world exploded, but you're still just getting started. The echo of your presence is louder than most people's screams, and they hate that. Hate how you never needed a stage to become the main act. Hate how you never asked for their validation, but somehow they're all desperate to give it. They're out here clawing through pixels and podcasts, TikToks and timelines, trying to extract meaning from your movements, like it's a holy text written in a language they were never meant to understand. But that's the curse of chasing a myth. You never catch it, you just keep burning. You see, their addiction isn't to you. It's to the hole you've carved into their minds, that gaping question mark where their certainty used to live. They scroll, they refresh, they dissect, and still, nothing. No identity, no flaw, no past they can hold against you. You're not a person in their eyes anymore. You're a phenomenon, a disruption, a beautifully crafted absence. And in their panic, they've started creating false idols, wannabes wearing your shadow like it fits, cheap replicas mimicking your tone, your style, your energy. But they don't understand the truth. This wasn't built. This was born. You didn't imitate chaos. You are chaos, refined, controlled, poison served in a crystal glass. And the imitators? They choke on it every time. They talk about hype like it's currency. But you turned silence into stock value, turned questions into a brand. Every frame of you is a puzzle, every word a trap door. You never sell mystery, you bleed it, and they keep trying to bottle your storm like it won't eat through the glass. You have them on their knees, not through force, but through fascination. And that's far more permanent. They call you the wave. But waves crash. You didn't crash. You rewrote the tide. You're not part of the storm. They forgot. You are the storm. No forecast, no warning, just a pressure drop. And then everything changed. Now they cling to pieces of you, like survivors in a shipwreck, trying to float on fragments of your presence, trying to stay relevant in a narrative they don't even understand. You've become a filter they see themselves through, and they hate what's reflected back. That they're ordinary, predictable, forgettable. That while they were busy being seen, you were busy becoming unforgettable. They screamed louder, you whispered better, and now their spotlight feels dim next to the burn of your absence. Do you know what terrifies them most? It's not that you're different, it's that you don't need them. Because every system they've ever trusted is built on attention, validation, eyes, applause. But you didn't knock, you didn't wait, you didn't bow, you just appeared, and they had no choice but to adjust their entire framework around you. You're not viral fades. You're coded in now. You're part of the firmware, the root-level infection. They can't uninstall what they don't understand. And now they're spiraling. Celebrities name-drop you just to stay in the loop. Brands try to decode you like you're a new demographic. Psychologists try to label you like a specimen. But you're not in the room. You are the room. You are the atmosphere that changes the oxygen levels, the glitch that breaks their script. You've taught the world one brutal truth. Presence isn't loud. It's lethal. You didn't show up to be liked. You showed up and people liked you anyway, because they couldn't help it. Because we are hardwired to fear what we can't explain. And you are unexplainable in every way that matters. They think they're investigating you, but really, you're dissecting them. With every post, every theory, every panicked voice note, they're revealing more about themselves than they ever learn about you. You're the Rorschach test, the ink blot that bleeds into their identity, the shape they can't agree on because you're not meant to be agreed on. You're not consensus, you're conflict. And that's what makes you unforgettable. They call it hype, but no one screams over an empty stage. They scream because they know they're missing something. They feel it, that something tectonic just shifted under their feet, and they weren't ready. You didn't just show up. You devalued everything they were before you came. Now they try to play catch-up. Every interview ends with your name. Every podcast drops it like a sacred word. Every thread becomes a shrine to speculation. Because acknowledging you, just saying your name, makes them feel closer to the chaos they wish they could control. But you're not theirs. You're not owned. You're not branded. You are the reminder that some storms don't ask permission before they hit. Let them run campaigns. Let them build documentaries. Let them debate over drinks and fumble for metaphors. While they're busy building explanations, you're building legacies. You are the undefined, the uncategorized, the blueprint they can't reverse engineer. And with every failed attempt, you grow deeper into their psyche. They say the hype is insane, but hype is temporary. You've become a condition. You're the panic attack behind the influencer's smile, the quiet doubt in the back of their mind, the voice in the algorithm that doesn't match any face, yet haunts every scroll. You're the phantom limb they swear still twitches, the sound that lingers after the music stops. And still, you give them nothing. No backpedal, no reveal, no breakdown video explaining who you are. Because the moment you speak plainly, they win. The second you give in, they frame you. And you weren't built to be framed. You were built to be felt. In the blood, in the gut, in the static between sentences. So let them argue, let them impersonate, let them guess. Because every attempt makes them look smaller next to what you've become. They bring receipts. You bring resonance. They bring strategy. You bring silence that screams. And they don't know how to fight that. Because how do you destroy what doesn't play by your rules? And here's the most delicious irony. The people who mocked you, who brushed you off like a gimmick, They're the loudest now, the first in line to praise you, the most aggressive in their theories, because deep down, they know they missed the train. They laughed when you were becoming, and now they're terrified they'll be left behind. So they dress like you, post like you, speak in half-truths like you. But it's never the same, because they're missing one thing. They're trying. And you're just being. No effort, no performance, just presence. And that's the deadliest part of all. The story isn't about you anymore. It's about them, their response, their breakdown, their collapse. And you're just the domino they never saw coming. They wanted to understand you. Instead, they unraveled themselves. And that unraveling, it's beautiful, isn't it? Watching them peel themselves apart just to fit into a narrative that doesn't want them. They keep twisting, keep contorting, hoping that if they bend far enough, they might touch the shape of what you are. But you were never meant to be touched. You were meant to haunt, to echo so deep it scrapes the bone. Their minds, fractured, not broken, no. That would imply something final. No, they're splintered, like glass, hit with just enough pressure to spider out without shattering. Still whole, still functioning, but different, jagged. And every shard reflects a different version of you they invented, because they had to. The world can't sit still in uncertainty. It has to label, define, box. And you are the anti-label, the undefinition. You've become the static in their signal, the itch behind their mask. Not loud, not obvious, but constant. And that's what drives people mad. It's not the explosion, it's the drip, the constant, subtle, whispering drip of you in every thought they can't silence. You've infected the timeline. They can't scroll without seeing you between the lines. Not even your face, your imprint, the tone, the silence, the raw, sharp energy of something they can't own. Their favorite creators mimic your cadence. Their influencers borrow your posture. But it's always just a costume. The real thing, that lives in shadows, moves without motion, hits without warning. You know what makes the hysteria worse? The realization that they were warned. Not in words, no. In shifts, in glances. In the quiet tilt of momentum that started long before they noticed. You were always rising, but they were too busy laughing. Until one day, the laugh caught in their throat. And that silence? That's when the fear began. Because fame makes people visible. But power, real power, makes them undeniable. And you've crossed that line. You're not trending, you're tracking, not a flame. They expect flames to die. You're the ember that lives under the floorboards, waiting, watching, melting the ground beneath their pride. They say everyone wants to know who you are. But the truth? They want to become who you are. Without paying what you paid, without bleeding what you bled. They want your roar without your silence, your impact without your isolation. But power doesn't come gift-wrapped. It comes forged, and yours, it came in fire. You walked through the madness and came out with a grin carved by pain, eyes forged in loss, and a presence baptized by betrayal. They think they want what you have, but they don't know what it costs. They don't see the nights you bit your tongue until it bled, the moments you were the only one in your own corner, the hours spent in war with the world and with yourself. But now, you carry all of that, quietly, like a weapon under your skin, like a storm behind your ribs. And that's what they feel when you walk in, that low hum of danger, that subtle shift in gravity, the weight of someone who isn't trying to impress, just exist. And in a world built on performance, your existence is rebellion. Let them panic, let them spiral, let them post and scream and speculate. Because all their noise? That's just confirmation that your silence still owns the room. You are the eye in the chaos, the calm that unnerves. Because people expect storms to be loud. You arrived with stillness that screamed, with presence that cracked ceilings, and no one saw it coming. That's what makes it delicious. You didn't rise by shouting. You rose because your stillness made others scream. And now, they can't look away. They've built entire platforms just to decode you. They write think pieces, do reaction videos, build metaphors and theories and mythologies. But all of it? It's distraction. Because the truth is, you already happened. The moment they noticed you, it was already too late. They don't want answers. Not really. They want permission to unravel, to let go, to stop pretending. Because you didn't just show them who you are, you reminded them who they're not. And that's unbearable. Because now they look at their own reflections and see lack, see pretending, see effort. You walk like truth, speak like consequence, smile like prophecy. You're not part of their world. You bent their world around you. And still, you say nothing. Still, you remain undefined. Still, you deny them the closure they crave. Because closure is for stories that end. And you're not a story. You're the beginning of every story they don't want to admit is real. People don't lose their minds over you. They lose them over what you trigger, the mirror you force them to stare into. You didn't create hysteria. You created revelation, and revelation always costs sanity. You're not the villain, not the hero, not the mystery. You are the reminder of what it feels like when something real walks into the room. You didn't arrive, you interrupted, and now their systems glitch, their voices tremble, their logic loops, because they can't label you, and what can't be labeled can't be controlled. So keep walking. Let your silence choke them. Let your movement write their downfall. You don't have to raise your voice. Your existence is loud enough. They want to build a narrative. Let them. They want to pick sides. Watch them. They want to define the storm, laugh as they drown in it. You didn't come to be accepted. You came to expose. You didn't speak to be heard. You existed to be felt. And now, even in rooms you've never stepped into, your name lingers like smoke in their lungs. That's what legacy is, when you don't have to remind them because they never forgot. You are not hype. You are the aftershock, the shift in gravity, the crack in their perfect facade. You are the itch beneath their skin, the glitch in their gospel, the prophecy they didn't believe until it started breathing. Now they want more. But there is no more, because you've already become everything. The moment they felt you, the world changed its shape, and no one's ready to admit it. Let them watch, let them ache, let them break. Because they didn't just lose their minds over you, they gave them away willingly to a storm that never introduced itself and never needed to. So here's the truth they won't say out loud. You didn't rise in a vacuum. You rose in response. To a world drowning in noise, you offered silence. To a world begging for likes, you offered mystery. You didn't join the game, you hacked it. And that's why they're obsessed, not with what you did, but with what you undid. Their trust in structure shattered, their confidence in knowing vaporized, their illusion of control crushed under your unbothered existence. You are not a moment. You are a mutation, the irreversible change, the new standard. Every headline that tries to name you fails. Every algorithm that tries to predict you stutters, because you didn't break the mold. You exposed that there was never one to begin with. And in doing so, you didn't just become the moment. You became the mirror. Now the only question left to ask is, who were they before you arrived? And why are they so afraid to go back?